really like the example you gave about, was it soil moisture, right? Was something that you
Sure.
found, right? If
Yep.
you wouldn't mind just speaking to your expertise specifically, I think some brands might think, well, I already have the zip code data. Why don't I just copy paste that into an AI model and have it spit out, similar zip codes or
Yeah.
maybe zip codes where we've sold a little bit compared to the ones we've sold a lot. Why don't we just what is it that you bring to the table or that a geospatial expert brings to the table?
It's a great question, right? And what I would say is that as with many things, there are an enormous amount of pitfalls that you have to know the questions to ask, the data to use, the right statistics to use, and think about just AI in general, right? Like it's trained on data that's out there. So this is kind of it's like paints, right? Like you can say, can you paint something? But is it hard to recreate like a Rembrandt or a Picasso? That's not easily done, right? And some may argue that maybe AI is getting there. Who knows if it is or not? But in this particular case, is the ability to generate this type of an output is a very odd mix of thinking outside the box, not using typical data sets, and then looking for patterns within that in a way that's applicable to that particular client. So I guess if you wanted to just like do a very rudimentary, you could do an analysis of what zip codes are you're selling well in. Amazing, right? You may discover some good things. These are our best zip codes. That is only the very cursory sort of understanding of that. What you're entirely missing out on is where are you over indexing, under indexing, and which of those zip codes are performing as normal? Where are your match markets that your sales haven't even occurred yet? You may have zero sales in a zip code, but it may be an amazing match market to where you have yet to be, or that you've sold really well in, right? So you may have sold $1 million in one zip code, but what your data won't tell you is that this other zip code in another part of the country or another part of your territory may equally be able to produce that $1 million sales, but you don't know about it and your data won't tell you that. So in this case, what we're really looking at doing is adding that additional layer of understanding, and that can allow you to mitigate risk, and it can allow you to modify and be more efficient with your budget. And when we've seen this applied correctly, like with an agency or for instance, in different ways, you can actually change your trajectory. Like perhaps, for instance, like Manoli, you and I are working on a client together right now where the trajectory was downhill. And since we've implemented some of the things that we've been talking about, their growth has actually been about 300% in the course of 6 months in terms of new customer growth numbers, and that's sizable. This is a nationwide company, so I mean, that's a whole nother topic, right? But it's not easily duplicatable without advanced knowledge of geospatial statistics, merging that with marketing, knowing what data to add, what data not to add, knowing how to interpret all of that. And it's not a set playbook that really can be sort of reproduced easily. As a matter of fact, I don't know of anyone that's kind of applying it in the way that we're doing it currently.